The gas station clock read 11:47 p.m. when Elliot Vance slid a crumpled $100 bill across the counter. "One lottery ticket," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. 3 hours earlier, that same $100 had belonged to someone else entirely. Elliot Vance was not a thief by nature, or so he had told himself for 11 months. 11 months earlier, Elliot had been the most trusted accountant at Holloway Grain Trust, a mid-sized commodities firm on the edge of the city. His boss, Richard Holloway, trusted him with every account the company owned. At home, Elliot's wife, Laura, believed their biggest problem was a leaking roof. She had no idea her husband was already $90,000 into someone else's money. It began, as these things often do, with a single unpaid medical bill. The first transfer was small enough to disappear into a rounding error. No one noticed, so he did it again. Within 6 months, $90,000 had become $900,000. Elliot told himself he was only borrowing, that he would pay it all back before anyone noticed. But somewhere between the second transfer and the 20th, the lie stopped feeling like a lie. By the 8th month, the number had climbed past $2 million. That same week, an external auditor named Grace Whitfield requested access to the trading logs. Elliot smiled through the meeting, but under the table his hands would not stop shaking. That night, he made a decision that would define the rest of his life. He would take one final amount, enough to disappear completely, and vanish before the audit finished. But on his way to the airport, something made him pull into a gas station instead. A part of him needed to know if luck could still choose him honestly, one last time. The ticket felt heavier in his hand than $3 million ever had. 2 days later, Detective Anna Reyes sat across from Richard Holloway in a room that smelled like burnt coffee. "Someone moved $3 million out of this company, and I intend to find out exactly who," Reyes said. Richard's jaw tightened as he slid a folder of employee records across the table. One name was circled in red ink: Elliot Vance. That morning, Laura found a bank statement she was never meant to see. "Elliot, what did you do?" she whispered, her hands trembling around the paper. Elliot stood frozen in the doorway, the lottery ticket still folded in his coat pocket. For the first time in 11 months, he had nothing left to say. By noon, Detective Reyes was standing on his porch with 2 officers behind her. Elliot opened the door before she could knock a second time. "I know why you're here," he said quietly, before she could speak a single word. As officers led him to the car, he pressed a small, folded ticket into Laura's palm. "Check the numbers," he told her. "If I'm ever going to make this right, it starts with that." 3 weeks later, Laura sat alone at the kitchen table, the ticket still unopened in front of her. She had spent every night since deciding whether checking it even mattered anymore. The restitution hearing was scheduled for Monday, and every dollar mattered now. Finally, with trembling fingers, Laura unfolded the ticket and checked the numbers against the morning paper. The ticket was not a jackpot winner, but it matched 4 numbers, enough for $11,000. It was nowhere near enough to undo what Elliot had done, and somehow that felt like the point. In prison, Elliot learned that Laura had donated every cent of it to the medical fund that started it all. For the first time in years, the number in his mind was not a debt, but a debt repaid honestly. He never bought another ticket again, but for once in his life, he felt like he had actually won something.